Welcome back to OrthoThrive. Today we're talking to Jake Julick about Greyfinch and all the updates they've made in the past year and some that are coming. You might want to watch this if you're looking for a new patient management system. Jake, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you. This is the first episode in 2024 of season 4. I can't wait to hear the new changes in Greyfinch, what's been going on the end of 2023 and into 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Richie. Appreciate it. Great to be back.
So tell us what's going on right now. Kind of what have you been up to with Greyfinch?
Well, it's been busy. We've been really pushing forward. There's some things we're trying to do inside of Greyfinch. We're been moving our technical stack to, some more modern technologies, which is something that a software company should always be looking at and considering, if it makes sense to make sure you're staying ahead of the game. I think if you look at a lot of the legacy practice management softwares, that really was never done. And to be fair, it was much, much harder back then, right? With the way that technologies worked. And so we've been in the process of doing that. So what that means is along the way, we're redoing each section of the software. Or I say redoing, it's more about giving it a fresh user interface look. And really at the same time, though, we're updating it, right? So people have been asking for a feature X, Y, and Z. Okay, great. We're redoing this. We're going to implement that now at the same time. So not only are customers over the last year have been getting kind of a refreshed look in a lot of the different areas of the software, they've also been getting a lot of new features as well along that. One of the big ones we did last year was the treatment card, which, as you can imagine, that's the one that's used by probably the most people in the clinic because you have the doctors, treatment coordinators, assistants, even front desk, everybody's looking in there. So everybody has an opinion on it. So we've really been trying to take all those things in and continue to evolve on it. And it'll never be, perfect for everybody, right? But we're going to do the best we can to try to get everything we can, in there. We even made it where you can kind of customize the view, right? So if one doctor wants to see it this way, they can. If another one wants to see it another way, they can. So trying to take all that things into account.
Oh, is that a new feature? They can change how it looks?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's right. So it makes it better for them to kind of get it the way they want to see it and the way they want to read it and view it and everything like that. And that all came directly from our user feedback, right? And that's how we really try to continue to improve on the products. And then, we released a feature last year too called case closer technology, which, allows you to text or email a patient. They can, basically start their contract from home, sign their contracts. They can even schedule their appointments. And we've built all kinds of rules around that. So, you don't have to worry about a patient picking a payment plan that's going to be 60 months for a 24-month treatment. We have a lot of bumpers around all that stuff.
Yeah, I know there's other third-party softwares that exclusively do that. So you've bundled it all into the one patient management system. I mean, that's a really nice feature.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with it, quite frankly. We had a clinic call us this summer, and they said they had more starts, or last summer, I guess. I can't believe it's already almost 2024 summer. But at the end of last summer, they called us, which is about when we released it, late or around that time, around summertime last year. And they said they had the best summer they've ever had, which, if you look at the industry as a whole, most people were down last year. And so for them to call us and say the best summer they ever had, and they said, we contribute it to your case closer technology feature. They said, everybody that walks out the door that does not start with us that day, they're getting that link. And they said they had so many people that would sign up through that link that we send out to them. And they were just thrilled about it and were excited to tell us. So we were very excited to hear that.
How often people make decisions like really late in the middle of the night on a weekend, times when you're just never going to be open. So it's nice to have it right in front of you and you can just take action.
Well, and think about it. Most people don't like to necessarily talk about money with a stranger, right? I mean, none of us want to tell somebody like we can't afford that $300 a month, but I could do 150. Maybe that means I need a higher down payment. Okay, well, let me play with that at home where I'm comfortable, not in a clinic, with a bunch of other people outside the door, and I'm like feel under the pressure to make a decision. So
yeah, like the opposite of getting a used car or a new car.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Try not to go down that path. Ultimately at the end of the day, you're still selling treatment, but you need to make it easier for your patients, and that's continues to be what we try to do is make it easy, right? For them. And it's not just a software for your practice anymore. It's for your patients too. And we love
Absolutely.
to say that because so many things that we do are patient facing, in Greyfinch. So, that's been really successful. At the same time, we're in the process of redoing our calendar and our scheduling right now too. So adding a ton of new features there. We have some really exciting integration stuff coming out that we're going to be able to announce soon. Some really really exciting stuff around that
Yeah.
that's going to really help with people's digital workflows. Unfortunately, I can't bring it up yet, but keep an eye out for that. From our, if you're not signed up for our emails, you can go on our website and sign up for those as well too, and we'll definitely
Absolutely.
be
So I know
announcing
what the
that.
calendar is, but if just in case other people haven't seen the past episodes, just explain this because a lot of systems don't allow you to do this.
Yeah, so what we're doing is there's a couple things around that, right? So we're redoing our calendar inside the practice management software for scheduling and how all that works. And really what that's
Yeah.
doing is putting in that new technology, but it's also going to make it, all the features that people have wanted, we're going to get a big chunk of them in there, which is great. So it's going to be a big improvement to what the current scheduling is. At the same time, though, we've also built a new technology that we're calling our Leads app that is a shoot off of our appointment widget. So our appointment widget is where you can embed it on someone's website,
Yeah.
right? And then they can, a patient can schedule online 24/7, 365. We were the first ones to do this. And, we're the only ones to my knowledge that, you don't have to do anything extra for it. Just leverages your templates. You schedule the appointment and it's there in your schedule for you all automatically. About 40 to 45% of them now are coming after hours when clinics are
Is
closed.
it that
It's a pretty
high?
big
40,
number. Yeah.
45%?
It used
That's
to be higher, but it's gone down. Yeah.
it's gone down. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Well,
Oh,
I think part of it is more work from home. I don't know.
I
People
think
do
that is
stuff
a
during
lot of
the
it. I was
home.
just talking with my wife the other day. I was like, wait a minute, how many of our friends work from home? And it was like half of them. And it didn't occur to me because it's happened so gradually. And all of a sudden, half of my friends are working from home, and I'm working from home. Who's doing this? Apparently, everyone. I don't know.
Well, an interesting stat around that, unrelated, but pretty interesting. During the height of COVID, right, when everyone was sent home to work from home, or a lot of people were, if you looked at
Yeah.
the browser traffic on websites, it was flipped of what the norm was, right? The norm was mobile was increasing and increasing. But
Oh yeah.
during that time, it flipped back to desktop being ahead because people were at home working from home on a computer versus being on their phone, maybe at their office. And it's
Well,
just
that
funny
makes
how that
sense.
kind of
Working and then
works. Yeah.
taking a few Facebook breaks or whatever.
That's right. That's right. So it was funny how that kind of transitioned, but yeah, but what we're doing with that though is we're kind of making it more customizable, right? So we're calling it a leads app. It doesn't have to be that they schedule an appointment. It could be that they just fill out a form and then they go into a lead status, right, for you on
Oh,
your
that's
website.
nice.
They
So
go
it
right
doesn't
into the
have to be
practice
scheduled
management.
appointment. They could download an ebook or sign up for an event or something. You can change it.
Exactly. Something like that. Yep. But you're going to capture that lead inside of Greyfinch and then you can connect to CRM or something like that to it if you wanted to. I'll talk more about our open APIs and what we're doing with that as well. But
Hmm.
along those lines, we're also going to be continually implementing more CRM type features inside of Greyfinch. But we know that, people want to do crazy things and custom things all the time. So we're
Yeah.
going to let people connect different systems to it. But with that, you'll be able to schedule the appointments as well too. But the other thing we're doing is one thing that we have found that there's a demand for, and really it's more about like if you think about when you go online shopping, right? You go and you put stuff in the cart. Well, if they don't know anything about you yet, they can't retarget market to you besides ads and things like that.
Mm.
But if you put in like your email address and stuff, they're saving that as you enter that, right? And they're
Yeah.
attaching that to that order. Even if you don't have an account, they know who you are. It's getting saved. And so then they can follow up with you, right? With emails and things like that. So we're starting to do that now too, right? So with this new leads app. So we're going to capture every data point along the way. And if they don't finish, that's okay. You could then follow up with that patient. It gives you whatever information we have on that patient. So then you can, and we're going to automate more and more of that, as we continue to, build this out. But it's just going to allow much more customization, from that. And it doesn't have to be just for appointments anymore, which is pretty cool. And you could, in theory, that means you could do different widgets and do different test cases and try different things, and this try a widget that asks 10 questions on this one, maybe you
Hmm.
only want 5 questions, like see if so it's going to give you a lot
I
of
mean, that's
flexibility to
valid. That very
customize
thing you're
that.
talking about. I was just rebuilding a website for a doctor, and they had like 10 or 15 questions on their contact page, and traditionally this is not the correct thing to do. And they told me what their stats are, and it's like, all right, just keep on doing what you're doing because if it's working, there's no reason to change it. Now we should test for the other way, but you really do need to keep testing things. It does just because it worked one way for this many years doesn't mean it is working the same way today.
Yeah, no, that's so true. You have to you have to keep trying different things, and if it's not working, you see a dip. But that's why it's so important to monitor that stuff, right? So, we're really going to continue to push down that path and more automation. We did release at the beginning of this year. It's technically still in beta, but it's basically it should be out of beta, and we're going to be releasing it to everybody here before the AO. It's called our Automation Hub.
Yeah.
And, that's a big deal for us is automation. That's something that's been near and dear to our heart, but you can't do that until you actually have like a practice management software that can run a practice too, right? You got to
Yes.
have the back end before you can do that, build the automation on something, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to push that forward, and really what that's going to do, Richie, is going to connect to our workflows. And so, for example, the future of this is someone fills out a lead form on the website, right? Maybe they don't schedule an appointment, but they're interested in the practice. They want some more
Yeah.
information. So then you set it up in Greyfinch that when that happens, in the automation hub, their status is this. Then you kick off this workflow. Then the workflows you'll be able to customize in the sense of, hey, they did this, so send them this email, right? And that could have a link to a white paper or a digital book of some sort, right? Or just pictures of before and afters, whatever they want. Then
Sure.
in 2 days, it could do something else. And then in 4 days, it could do something else. But you basically could build that trickle marketing that you do in a CRM system, a similar concept. But it's also going to be better than that for like your collections process, right? So for example, you have a declined credit card. Right now, clinic usually pulls a list on that. Then they have to go start calling, or if they have texting, then maybe
Oh, it's
text the
all
patients and
manual?
so
I didn't know
forth.
that was still manual.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we will make it, we actually we have a way to do it where you can at least mass, even with Greyfinch, it's not the best today, this second, but that's changing real quick. You can mass text patients and they can get a link that then they can go, tell them to go to the patient hub and update their
Yeah.
auto draft information. But there's still friction there, right? So what we're about to release is the ability for you to set it up where it auto text messages patients
Yes.
if they have a decline just with a unique URL. There's nothing they have to log into. They can click that. And when they do that, they update their auto draft source and make their payment without having to log in. So it's really text to pay, right? So it's no logging in and it's all automated. And they can just click that link, make their payment, and boom, they're done. It auto posts in Greyfinch for them. So, along with that, we're going to be releasing a new auto updater feature, which will auto update credit cards too. So Visa and
I'll
MasterCard.
explain that. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but there's a service and there's a small nominal fee for this, but it's well worth it, to be honest.
Yeah.
By the time you call somebody, it's the amount of money you spend doing that. So it can tell, like, and I think it only works for Visa, MasterCard, and it's not every card issue, but it's a good chunk of them, right? And that list of people that participate continues to grow. You only build when one is updated, but what it does is it checks your cards weekly. I can't remember how often, that you have, and it bounces them up against changes. And if it changed, it'll automatically update it. So a real common one is your expiration dates,
Of
right? Because
course.
the card numbers usually don't change on that, just the
Hmm.
expiration dates and maybe the 3-digit code, I think changes. So those things, but the card number stays the same. So if it gets an alert back that that card's been updated, it automatically updates that information inside of their system, the processor system. So then when you go and you run that card, it's not going to decline. It's just going to keep on going without the
And
patient
that's going to be
having to
the
do
vast
something.
majority of those types of interactions is expired expiration date. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I think it even will do lost and stolen too. I can't remember exactly, but I think even because it knows it's reported and it can replace it with the right, the new card number in there too.
Yeah.
So I think it even does that. But so that's pretty exciting too, because just we really try to like what ROI can we bring to our clinics, right? And we're releasing these features, so that's a big one as well. Um,
Over the years, I've seen this trend. We're making practices more and more and more efficient. So you can just have you have more bandwidth. You can have more patients getting better service with a smaller team, and it allows you to just grow faster. I mean, it's amazing.
That's right. And one can make an argument we shouldn't do that since we bill by per employee using the software. So if you have to have less people, that's worse for us. But at the end of the day, we're not worried about that. It's
Well, I
you
don't
still
think
have to have
anyone,
people in
most
the
people are just going to
clinics.
be happy to hire more people because they're growing, you
That's
know?
right. That's right. Yeah. you still got to got people. That's the thing. Patients coming in. Someone has to see them, right? So you want to make sure
Exactly.
you have those
And
people
these
there.
these tasks
Um,
it's automating are not the tasks that employees love to do every day. You know?
exactly. I mean, the ultimate goal is that with the workflows that we're building out, is the reports that people have to go run every single day to work whatever. They don't do that anymore. Things are just happening automatically, and they're getting tasks when they need to do something,
Exactly.
themselves, and everything's just happening behind the scenes for them. So, that's where we're trying to go with that. Along with that, though, also about to be released within the next week or two, if not the end of this week, is, we've talked before about our appointment widget, and we brought it up earlier on this show.
Hmm.
One of the things that a lot of people don't think about, though, is like, if and you have an appointment widget, where is that traffic coming from? Is it coming? Did you run an ad on Facebook, and that's how they got there to book that appointment? Are you doing Google ads? Are you doing retargeting? How are they
Hmm.
getting to your web page or to that landing page if you have a landing page set up? Even
Yes.
if they come from a Facebook ad right to your website, they still leave that digital footprint, right? We still know they came from Facebook. So that's really important data for you to know as a doctor, so that you know how to spend your money. Like, right, if you're getting a ton of leads from Facebook, then keep pumping more into that. If you're not, then stop, right? And it's
Yeah, right.
really,
Or at least
to
find
be
somebody
honest,
to get
it's
better leads for you.
that's right. That's right. If it's not where, yeah, you're using the wrong company probably, or maybe it just doesn't work. I don't know.
That's
Marketing's
true. There's some markets it just isn't a good platform, or the
that's
cost
right.
is, doesn't make sense. ROI doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Google ads the same
So
way. There's some markets Google ads are just prohibitively expensive.
the biggest problem in this space right now is that nobody can look you in the eyes, except a very few people, and say, I know that ad campaign that I ran, that digital ad campaign brought me in X number of dollars for patients. It's all a guess
Yeah. And it's
most of the
because
time.
of that disconnect between the CRM and the final system that turns someone into a client or patient or whatever. And that, I mean,
Yep.
as a marketer, I can speak to that. I can tell you, I got the football right here. I passed it off, but you have to tell me if they scored. Like if I don't
That's
know
right.
that, I can't connect the dots. And being
Yep.
able to
You're
connect
exactly.
those dots is huge, especially when you grow. Even when you're small, I guess it's even more important because you really need to know exactly where to put that money.
Yep.
It might be that you need to do Facebook in a different phase of your practice when you have a higher budget, or vice versa. It just depends what's going on.
Yeah. And if you don't know, then you don't know what to do with your money. You're not being smart about it. And so what we've done is in the past, and I told you a few people might be able to tell you that the answer to the question is how much did this ad campaign truly bring you in revenue, or in new production.
Yeah,
And the only ones that can really do that are the ones that use Greyfinch in our appointment, or ones that do the manual work that you said, right? You have that, you tell them, and you go look, and you have to do a bunch of manual steps. So there, you can get to it. It's just a lot of extra work, and you're relying on people to do that work. But what
absolutely.
we've
And you
done
don't always
now,
get a good match. It's not, there's a lot of
that's
human
right.
error. Yeah, that's
What
great.
we've done now is take that out of it, right? And so what happens now is you'll go into Greyfinch, you'll connect to your Google Analytics account to Greyfinch, and we now pull that data directly into Greyfinch from Google Analytics, and you'll have a dashboard report that you can view, and you'll be able to see that ad campaign. There'll be filters for the different campaigns. It brought me
Hmm.
$5,000 in contract starts, or $20,000, or $100,000, and you spent X hundreds or thousands of dollars on that campaign. So you'll truly be able to see end to end, without, in the past we could do it, but you needed somebody to know how to pull that data from our data warehouse.
Of
Well, to be
course.
fair, only larger customers did that. It
Yes,
just,
exactly.
most small clinics don't. So we're bringing that piece into Greyfinch now. So anybody can leverage that. So people using you as doing their digital marketing, you can go in, they can go in at any point and see that true ROI for those campaigns that they're doing. And
Yeah,
so
and I mean,
we're really
honestly,
excited
it's
about it.
often surprising. People will feel good about one thing and bad about another, and the data will just be totally the opposite of what they thought was going on. Because a lot
Yep.
of times, a doctor's only information is what they're maybe hearing from the staff or just what they feel like is happening, and it might not be true at all. I mean, it's really funny how that can work.
Well, and I think, this is our first initial step into this dashboard, right? And what's important to people. And
Hmm.
and what I think we can do with it is even take it a step further eventually and say, okay, you maybe got 20 new patients from this campaign that's worth $100,000 or whatever it is, right? It's a great campaign.
Yeah.
And you run it again. All of a sudden, your AR is starting to be like, "What's going on? Why do so many people not paying me?" Right? Well, maybe it's from that ad campaign. Maybe we should stop that ad campaign. So,
Sure. Yeah.
continually adding more data into those types of things is going to be able to help clinics continue to make better decisions about who they're marketing to and how they're marketing to. And so,
Great.
it'll be the first closed loop marketing system out there, and we're pretty excited about it. And I think companies like you, people like you, will be very excited about it too, because it creates that, you don't have to do that work anymore. You don't have to ask them, did these patients start and how much was the value and all that stuff. It's just all there
Yes,
for
it
you.
really helps a lot. I mean, and these, every marketer or every business owner wants to know what's working and what's not. Because as long as you understand ROI, that's where you're going to put your money.
Yep. Yep. No doubt. And
Well, is there
really the
anything
last
else? I
other,
mean, that's so
oh
much.
yeah,
It's listed off like so many
one more
things.
thing I'll say. Yeah. The last big thing that we're going to be releasing, at the AAO, it's kind of or we're hopeful to have something. We should have it ready to go by then.
Yeah.
One, if you look at the history of this space, none of the practice management softwares have truly open public APIs. They have integrations with companies, but most of the time they're doing like one-off integrations, and they
Yes. Yes.
likely using APIs, which is fine. But if you go to modern software as a service applications now, most of them have API docs on their websites and things
Of
like that for
course.
you to integrate with, because they want you to be able to use what you want, right? No one in this space is doing that, and we're going to be the first ones to have that. And that's going to mean that we could integrate with Salesforce if they want to, but even like the common ones like Weave and Mango Voice and, what those different things that people want, even I don't know. There's a lot, people ask us all the time to integrate with this. There's a new company that came out that's doing AI reception, which looks pretty
Yeah.
cool, right?
I mean,
And
just
they want to
integrate
integrate
with
with us.
Zapier and Make so that we can make everything else work.
That's right. You could do that. We can do that too. Like that's the key with these things, though, is we can do those things once we have all this stuff. And the
Yes.
difference is, Richie, is that because we have that, Greyfinch now doesn't have to. To be fair, we have the power of the integrations. I mean, we have the data, right? We have the practice
Yeah.
management software. We don't look at it like that. That we have the power in that sense. But when you take a step back, you look at it, it's like, well, because we have the data. It's just natural of that. So
True.
we do have the power of that. So we could say forever, we're not going to integrate with people. We're not going to write integrations. That's not what we want. You as the clinic should have that choice. If you don't like
Absolutely.
our built-in two-way texting and you want to pay for it from somebody else because of X, Y, and Z, then if they want to do the work to integrate with us, then by all means. And most of these other companies have people standing by and that's all they do. And they'll have an integration with Greyfinch done in 2 to 3 weeks, and they're ready to rock and roll.
Oh,
So,
that's
you
amazing.
know,
It's
we're
going to
really
allow
excited
you to
about it
grow
because what
faster too, because if you see a bunch of people using a different two-way texting, for instance, you're going to find, well, why and what are they using and what does it have that we don't have? Well, let's just fix that.
That's right. That's right. Because we don't want that, right? We want people to use our system. That's one of our
Mhm.
big selling points. But we also, maybe that's a bad example, but it really is. But for things that we're never going to do, like, or at least we don't have any plans right now, right? You
Yeah,
never say
right.
never on anything, but things we don't want to do or never want to do, well, that makes complete sense to try to, have them write an integration to us. And as you can imagine, we get hit up all the time. And so what that does though, is it means I don't have to have a developer work directly with that other company for 4 to 6 weeks to write an integration, maybe longer, depending on what it is.
Mm,
We don't have to do much work at all. We're there to support them, answer questions, but as long as the APIs are done correctly. So what that does is that means that our team can be focused on building more things in Greyfinch than just doing integrations, which is what a
absolutely.
lot of companies kind of got caught up in the past, in my opinion, is they like just focus on integrations and not actually making their product better. They were making their product better by having integrations. Fair, but what we're hearing out there is people don't want 7 or 8 different softwares to work with their practice management software to get what they want. So they really want one, and a few integrations here and there, no big deal. So, anyways,
Yeah.
we're real excited to get that out. That's going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to continue to be building out. It's not
Well,
something
the
you do
fact that you're
overnight.
doing it, you're being the pioneer, and that's what I like. Your company has always been like that. You're not scared to just go do something that everyone else just refused to do for whatever reason. It was too difficult or whatever.
Well, no one was building appointment widgets, and quite frankly, the market wasn't quite sure if they wanted it yet. It was very mixed when we
Yeah.
surveyed. But boy, when we started seeing that data, and we're like, it's every place else is doing it. Everything says we should be doing an appointment widget for patients to
Yeah.
schedule online, 24/7. But once we saw the data, it's like everybody should be using this. And if you're not, you're missing out on a lot of patients, because we still see, I think it's still up close to a 60% average of new patient exams scheduled, more than what you were doing before. If you have that on there and, have it
Really?
placed right on your website, there's some variables around all that, of course, but
Of course.
it's a significant increase that everybody, sees a bump in exams scheduled. So
That's exciting. Yeah, you have to just make it, you have to get rid of all these obstacles in the way of people making a decision. Why make it difficult at all? I was just on TikTok. It's the only social media I consume as far as entertainment goes. And I was going to buy something on TikTok Shop. And I bought a few things from them. And the ones that do it properly, you press a few buttons, you press the Google Pay, you press another button, and it's done. And this, I don't know what it was. I think it was something I really wanted. Oh, it was grounding sheets. I need to get a new pair of grounding sheets. And they had a good deal on it. So I clicked the button. I was about to buy them. And it opened up a new window where I had to enter my Google information. I was like, nope. I just exited right out. It's like, you screwed it up. Like, I was one click
yep.
away from paying $140 for these sheets. And they made it hard. I was like, let me go back to
the old adage, right? Whoever makes it easiest wins. I mean, there's so much truth to that. I think, especially nowadays. I mean, consumers have gotten lazy. We have. I mean, I'm one of them too, right? We all are. I still research, maybe not as much, but I just want it easy. I don't want it to jump through 15 hoops, right? It's much easier to buy something, to your point, when, it's just right there. I click a few buttons and boom, I'm done on my Apple Pay or Android Pay, whatever it is. And
I mean, things should be clicks away. That's Amazon ruined all of us. So it's the new norm.
I think I blame it on Netflix too, on demand, Spotify to one. I was telling my kids the other day, I was like, you guys have no idea what it was like. We had to go find a CD or a tape and fast forward through the cassette tape to get to the song we wanted. Now y'all are just telling Alexa to play whatever, Taylor Swift or whatever, and you have the whole library at your fingertips. Just as,
I
we're so
still miss
spoiled
going
now.
to Blockbuster and that experience though. If they could somehow just have it like nostalgic, like sell something else there, but you could do it just to experience it, it'd be fun. Like an ice cream shop that also has a Blockbuster in the back. I don't know.
Well, I will not
is
be an
that it?
investor
I mean,
in
that's
that,
a lot.
but I will just, but no, I agree. I like old records too. I think that's fun, but it's just one of those things, that nostalgia. But I mean, we got all kinds of stuff, right? That, but that's really the most prevalent stuff that, I wanted to share today. And we're always doing crazy things. So feel free to reach out at any time if anybody has questions on our website, greyfinch.com. You can schedule a demo, fill out a form, give us a call. We're happy to talk to you. And we're pretty transparent. We're going to be releasing a new thing for our existing customers so they have more visibility into our roadmap and what we're doing, and vote and comment on things too. So again, just more engagement that nobody else has ever done in this space, and just trying to be different.
Well, Jake, you don't disappoint. Thanks for coming back to the show and giving us updates on what Greyfinch has to offer. I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
To be a guest on our show, or if you have a suggestion for a future show, reach out to us at orthothrod.com. You can reach host Richie Gerzon at richard@orthosalesengine.com. Until next time, thanks for joining us.